In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, most excellent, I took refuge until enlightenment is reached by the merit of generosity and other good deeds. May I attain Buddhahood forsake all sentient beings. Dunga da dunga ge ju da de wa ju ja dunga me be de wa da me de wa ju ni re cha da ni da de wa da nya la ne wa ju ro je mo nong ga da nya be sam je dam je de wa da de wa ju da dam ba ra ju ja dong da dong ge ju de wa ju ja dong ma ba de wa da me de wa ra ju ni re cha da ni da lo ne wa ra ju ro je. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as sky, have happiness in the cause of the happiness. May they be liberated from suffering in the cause of the suffering. May they never be separated from happiness that is free from sorrow. May the rest of equanimity free from attachment and aversion. Please, your supplication to Lord Jigten Sumgon, page 16. Unequal refuge, ornament of the world. You fame the privilege in 3,000 world. You are the victor Vajradhara without doubt. Bow to the feet in the Father Jigten Sumgon. Continue, I think, no one but you. Compassionately, when you create your blessings. Dispelling the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me. I realize and liberate the nature of the mind. Then a short mandala also. Short mandala, page 28. Om Guru Devada Ikena Ratna Mandala Pratis Soha. The ground is spring water and the scented water of the strain of the flowers. It is done with the Meru, the supreme mountain, and the four kindness, and the sun and the moon. As the Buddha fed, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha field. To the lamas who the possess three kayas, I offer the outer, inner, and secret offerings, with my body, wealth, and all visible. Please grant me supreme realization and enlightenment. Whatever merit I have with the three prostrations, offering, compassion, rejoicing, blessing, prayer, enlightenment, all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Om Guru Devanda Gina Rana Mandala Bhattisa Soha. Samjaya Namjaya Sambada Loyoi Chedai Chedawa Chijo Domoy Dekwaye Chujioy Kolo Korodoso. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the two vehicle and their combination according to the disposition, likewise the mental capacity of the sentient beings. Down. First, please relax yourself physically, mentally, and take a deep breath. Inhale fully and release all our physical and mental tension. Just relax. And once more, please inhale fully all the loving kindness, compassion of the Buddha. Permeate our body and mind. And exhale. Please inhale once more all the wisdom, bodhicitta of all the Buddhas. And heal our mind, pervade our entire mind, and release all our negativities or delusions. Exhale.
Then with this we'll do the Guru Yoga that brings the Dhammakaya onto the path. Vajradhara Lama, embodiment of the three jewels, I take refuge in you and will until I attain enlightenment. Sentient beings, victim of the confused projection suffering, I generate the mindset for enlightenment in order to establish you all in the non-abiding state. Vajradhara Lama, embodiment of the three jewels, I take refuge in you and will until I attain enlightenment. Sentient beings, victim of confused projection suffering, I generate the mindset for enlightenment in order to establish you all in the non-abiding state. Vajradhara Lama, embodiment of the three jewels, I take refuge in you and will until I attain enlightenment. Sentient beings, victim of confused projection suffering, I generate the mindset for enlightenment in order to establish you all in the non-abiding state. Then visualization, establishing that. Lord Vajradhara Jigten Sumgon, you sit on the seat of the 10 strengths, 4 fearlessnesses, and 18 unmixed dharmas. Your measure and manner marks of love, compassion, and bodhicitta, radiate rays of light, and your non-conceptual, enlightened activities reach to all sentient beings or migrator equally. Omo Irana Shiri Saravase Devam Omo Irana Shiri Saravase Devam Omo Irana Ranashir Saravase Devam You are the Buddha, Nagakula Paradipa, and Devamkara of the past, Maitreya of the future, and Shakyamuni of the present, the reincarnation of Nagarjuna, the peerless Rana Shri. Lord Jigten Sumgon, I supplicate you. You are the Buddhas, Nagakula Paradipa, and Devamkara of the past, Maitreya of the future, and Shakyamuni of the present, the reincarnation of Nagarjuna, the peerless Rana Shirin. Lord Jigten Sumgon, I supplicate you. You are the Buddhas, Nagakula Paradipa, and Devamkara of the past, Maitreya of the future, and the Shakyamuni of the present, the reincarnation of Nagarjuna, the peerless Rana Shri. Lord Jigten Sumgon, I supplicate you. Light rays emanate from the Lama's body, speech, and mind and dissolve into my four places, thereby purifying the four obscurations, destroying the four empowerments, and planting the seed of the four kayas. The Lama then dissolved into myself, and my mind is now natural luminosity, emptiness.
Use my laptop instead.
dedication through both the innate virtue and the virtue accumulated in the 3 times by all in samsara and nirvana. May I and all sentient beings filling space, none left out, realize the co-emergent ultimate reality and attain the final state of non-abidance in existence or peace. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good everything. Okay. Now, we are so fortunate to have one day to reflect on these precious Dharma teachings. As you know, the Dharma teaching is the wisdom of the Buddha. Just to reflect our purpose of this. All our purpose, making effort on this, is to free from all the suffering that surrounds us in our daily life, in the samsara. And we all desire for peace and happiness. It's universal. It's not a religious belief. It's not just a culture, but we should say it's the culture of the samsara. And regarding to this, then everybody make effort how to free from suffering and how to bring the peace and happiness in our life. That everybody's interest and everybody's focus on this. Sometimes we want to become famous to be happy. Sometimes we want to collect a lot of wealth for happiness. Sometimes we go around different places here and there to be happy. Sometimes we go to retreat, isolate yourself to be free from suffering, to have peace and happiness. But at the end of the day, all the effort what we made is focusing on this optimal goal. So because of this, we need to cultivate the mind to all the sentient beings. We individual are one individual, one person. Sentient beings are limitless, as you can see in the world. Just look at a nest of ants. How many ants are there? Hundreds of thousands of millions of ants there. They keep busy because they want peace and happiness. They keep busy to free from suffering. So we have the same interest, directly or indirectly. So as a human being, not just only human beings, those who have this precious human life, which is 18 good qualities, and has interest in the study and practice of the teachings. So we cultivate the mind to everybody's interest, that free from suffering and have peace and happiness, and to attain complete enlightenment. The reason because the mind is such a powerful. The mind nature is unfathomable. It's so vast as the space. Space has no limit. You can fly in the rocket from the east to all the way, and you cannot find now the fringe of the space, the sky. After all, the rocket will return because the rocket is exhausted. So likewise, the mind, our mind has such profound. This we should understand that. Our physical body is very limited. The mind is unlimited. So Buddha, who realized this reality nature, seeing the complexity of the sentient beings, Buddha taught all the Dharma teachings. As yesterday we went through the second verse statement, Buddha taught 84,000 types of categories, the teachings, the doors of the teachings. These all are taught to solve the problem, the puzzles of the mind. The mental afflictions are such powerful. When the mind is in the wrong place, overpowered by the mental afflictions, delusions, we are under the control of that power, and our suffering is so immense. So to free from this, Buddha's teaching is totally relevant and taught for that. So therefore, we are so fortunate to have this opportunity to study, practice this Dharma teaching. As I mentioned, it's not just a religious interest. It's not just our belief system in the religion, but this is something that to solve the puzzle of the mind. Even as you know, all the modern scientists, great scientists are working hard, but has very limited resource on this. Mostly they are focused on the outer matter. So like have you heard of like that, the black hole, Big Bang, all those things, try to measure the space, but it's very limited, you see, because the outer matter cannot measure the unfathomable mind. The mind can measure by the mind. And Buddha has done that, measured that, for many lifetimes, especially his own life, going to retreat for 6-7 years, totally dedicated in that. And finally, he solved all the puzzles of the mind. And then he said, now I'm enlightened. I found the final nectar, the undefiled ambrosia. So from that state, then with such that kind of wisdom and out of compassion taught all those teachings, giving this wisdom to all the sentient beings. As I mentioned repeatedly, this Buddha's teaching is not just only for Buddhists. These teachings are taught for every sentient beings, because there's no limit, there's no boundary. Buddha's wisdom has now no boundary. So that's the Gongchig, that what Buddha taught. The complete teaching, very comprehensive of those Buddha's teachings brought into this Gongchig, called this such precious teaching in this. So we should have that kind of wisdom. So all those teachings, not just some Buddhist great teachers, individuals' view. This is the complete view of the Buddha. So complete view of the Buddha that described in this Gongchig. So in the Gongchig, when you study, you cannot compare with some individuals, intellectual masters. We have to total compare to Buddha. But at the same time, these some great teachers, when they taught, then we bring quotations because it's relevant. It's related to the Buddha's teaching, the mode of abiding, the innate disposition or the complete nature of the reality. Yesterday I went through 3 Vajra statements that the 84,000, what Buddha taught is to solve the puzzle of the 84,000 types of mental afflictions. And the second is the 3 Pitakas, the 4 Tantras, stage of Tantras are taught step by step to follow the path. The Vinaya, 3 Pitaka, the Vinaya Pitaka, the Sutra Pitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka, the 3 baskets of the teachings. And Action Tantra, and then this, the Activities Tantra, the Action Tantra, and Yoga Tantra, and Highest Yoga Tantra is also taught according to the capacity of the individuals when they develop. Then the 4th Vajra statement, the Buddha turned the 3 wheels of the Dharma. These 3 wheels, the Buddha turned the Dharma teachings according to the one individual to go step by step. 5 paths, a path of accumulation, path of preparation, and special insight path, and path of meditation, and final, the path of perfection. Also 10 bhumis, from first bhumi level to the 10th Bodhisattva's bhumi, then to cross that boundary and attain the Buddhahood. So these teachings are taught according to the individual to progress step by step towards the enlightenment. So relation to this now, we are turning into this, the short, there's, as I mentioned, the prescription and as mentioned, the prescriptions and prescription, their mode of abiding. So yesterday we have touched the until all the composite phenomena are all the composite phenomena are impermanent, subject to change, as we know. But knowing is one thing, but bringing into the heart is different. Knowing is intellectual. You can prove intellectually with a lot of reason, with validities, So this proves this proves this proves this, that, and you can debate for a lifetime. But if you don't practice it, it doesn't mean so much. It's like studying the mathematics. You can calculate all through the mathematics. You can prove with the scientific way. But if you don't practice, is not so relevant. No. What we need is we need to practice. Now, when the food is made, and delicious food is made, that is good, but it's not relevant if you don't eat it. If we eat it, then it solves the problems of the hunger. When you are hungry, then eat the delicious food, and the purpose is fulfilled. Likewise, the Buddha's teaching, what Buddha taught, is to free every sentient being from the suffering. So to free all sentient beings from the sufferings, you have to practice. You know? Just is we can prove this did as mentioned, but if you don't practice, then we don't get the benefit. Therefore, well is impermanent. That means everything's transitory nature. Also, what that means, everything's changing moment to moment. And what that means is there's no anything that we can attach on, we can rely on changing. You know, sometimes your best friend becomes enemy. Your enemy can become your best friend. Sometimes very impressive person, wonderful person turn into such an ugly person. You see, everything's very transitory nature. So therefore, what teaches us, don't grasp it. Let go. No? Don't attach to it. Just live your life that way. So that what that helps is it brings the peace in the mind. No? The real peace, the real peace will come from that. No? That when there's a peace in your mind, there's a happiness. So happiness is the flavor of the peace. See, this peace depends on the wisdom, not emotional. Sometimes when you meet your very good friend, then there's no fear. You know that person so well, and you just feel so friendly, and you feel so peace. But that peace is very temporary at that moment. When that person goes, leaves, there's no peace. You see, the peace goes with that person. It doesn't stay with you. No. So the peace here in the mind is mind free from all this duality, grasping. So that we learn from the impermanence. As I mentioned, I described the Milarepa's song. So sometimes it's good to read this story of those great masters. And I'm sure you know these 8 worldly concerns. 8 worldly concern is, we want wealth. Nyaba, it's called Nyaba, Tomnaka. It gives you joy when you get the wealth. Then when you don't get the wealth, not happy. So between this is one of the 8 worldly concerns. And then the fame. Everybody wants the fame, famous. If somebody said this person is wonderful, worthwhile to praise, all this, and if that become person famous, they say, so happy, so I'm so famous. If somebody criticizes that person, and then you are not happy, you see, because you are attached to that. When you are attached to that, then when somebody praises, you are happy. If somebody criticizes, you are not happy. So if you have no attachment to this, No attachment to wealth, no attachment to the fame. Whether you get wealth, there's nothing to attach. Whether you don't have the wealth, there's nothing to fear about it. So all this, in the samsara, so everywhere, all over the world, the people's interest is eight worldly concern. You see, regardless who they are, believer, non-believer, rich, poor, anybody, everybody in the world, our interest is the eight worldly concerns. So we need to reduce that attachment, purify that, and then our interest, which shift that interest from eight worldly concern to the enlightenment. See, this is the point. The important is, if we are totally concerned about the eight worldly concern, then we will have no interest for enlightenment. What that does is then all the mental afflictions, delusions manifest, you see. It surrounds all in our life. And then that the effect of that is only suffering. That's why one should make every effort to shift our interest to the eight worldly concern, to the enlightenment or the Buddhahood. Because what it means is, our interest in the eight worldly concern is also for peace and happiness. You see, you want to be happy when you're famous. You want to be happy when you're rich, See, I'm rich, so I'm happy, I'm rich, I'm so happy because I'm so famous. Everybody likes me, like they love me, they like me, So no. Then that shows if somebody criticizes, that person is not happy, you see. So that's reality, It's not a culture of some country or some people. It's the culture of the samsara, Whole in the samsara is about that. So these are very important to take care of. Otherwise, if you practice Dharma, you stay in the eight worldly concern. You go to retreat. So I'm going to retreat. If somebody hear that I'm the retreat, they will praise me, They will respect me, So even Dharma practice can become the real direct cause for the eight worldly concern. So you see, chanting mantra, saying prayers are not necessarily for the enlightenment. So say this can be cause for the samsara. That's where Gambupa mentioned, if you don't practice Dharma according to the meaning of the Dharma, that can be lead to the samsara or lead to the lower realms, he said, So that's why first we have to have such a motivation. It's called pure motivation. Even though they said, so with the pure motivation, you do this, that. But sometimes still the mental afflictions are so stubborn. They're very stubborn, very difficult breakthrough. So we have to repeat this again and again. Otherwise, you go to the temple, say prayers, burn incense, candle. So that's today I'm here to help me to have a good business. And then we burn incense and offer candle as my friend, my family have a good health. May I have a good health, long life. So I pray for this. So all this attached to this life. We're not saying prayers, may everybody free from samsara. May everybody achieve enlightenment. We don't say that prayer so much. When we say this, when you open the text, then you say it. But in the mind, it's very difficult to come out, to manifest. So therefore, we have to change this, the pattern of the samsara towards the enlightenment. So in permanence. When you reflect on the suffering, that means we're not making everything's bad, as I mentioned, bad, but it's prepare. Reflect on this suffering. Suffering has such a great benefit there when you reflect on. When you look at the suffering, that helps to cultivate great compassion. As the other dimension, you cannot cultivate compassion or loving kindness on the piece of rock. Or person who are happy, successful, you don't need to cultivate compassion. They are successful, they are happy, So why you need to say it? May they have all the happiness or free from suffering. But when you look deeper in the meaning of the samsara, then you see that everyone is subject of suffering. So there, when you look at the suffering, then it helps you to develop such great compassion. Then suffering is caused. The suffering is not independent. It does not manifest without cause, or from wrong cause, or from incomplete cause. So we should understand suffering is manifested out of the mental delusion. Look at this. And then, see, it helps us to avoid the cause of suffering. It gives us wisdom to see the cause of the suffering, the cause of the samsara. And it reduces our arrogance. When you are suffering, mentally or physically, you become more humble. So I'm suffering. Please help me, You see. Otherwise, if you're not suffering, you won't do that. You are so arrogant. Oh, I am so important person. I am such. So our arrogance is strong, powerful. But the suffering helps to reduce that height, the arrogance, reduces that, makes a real human being. So look, so reflect on the suffering is very precious. It's a source of the wisdom. It helps you to develop more compassion. So that's why we need to reflect on the subject of suffering. In the world, there are so many people who are aging. As yesterday, there were some questions about, we call dementia, forgetting this, because when you age, then these things happens. You forget very easily. Very unstable mind. Cannot maintain the mind in the right place. So Dharma is the only one can help you directly, But it needs time to adjust that kind of habit. It doesn't come like taking a pill, like a switch a button, Due to this, now the technology is so much, we just push the button and everything just turns, But the mind is not that easy. you know, we need a long time to get adjust to that. It doesn't happen just push, you know. So we want to be that, you know, just push and then say, oh, okay, Dharma works, you know. Otherwise, it's, Dharma doesn't work. Dharma works, but it depends on individual how much interest you have, how much habituated yourself into these practices. So these are the very important tip that we should have in our life. Why Dharma is so necessary, not just as a Buddhist, no, not just as a spiritual. Dharma is for everybody, no. So those are interested, not interested, but they, in reality, they need Dharma, you know. Then also as mentioned, you know, about this. So when you look at these in the samsara, as mentioned, we interest 8 worldly concerns. That our whole the objective goal in the samsara is to, through these 8 worldly concerns, we want to have peace and happiness. But in reality, there is not, you see. This is just now taught by Buddha, not just taught by Buddha. All the great followers, they have went through that, examined that, you know, and they're totally convinced about these things. So they also repeated same thing what Buddha said, you know. So that shows in the samsara there's no refuge. We do take refuge here and there. When you are hungry, you take refuge in your lunch. You know. When you get headache, you take refuge in the pill to get rid of the headache. You know, as you know. So there are these, but they are very temporary, you know. So there comes the refuge. So I read today the refuge here now. The Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha are the changeless, permanent places of refuge. You who desire emancipation from the suffering abyss, strive to take refuge in them from the bottom of your heart. You see. Now Buddha, as you know, Buddha was, say, Buddha. The word Buddha means fully purified and fully awakened. Purified all mental obscurations. There are many different levels of the obscurations of the mental afflictions, obscuration of the person's self, the obscurations of the phenomena self, many different layers of obscurations. So all these layers of the obscurations are fully purified. Mind is completely pure. Then at the same time, you know, all this awakening means all the excellent qualities are achieved. All the wisdom, knowing everything. Like say, Buddha has 10 powers, 10 strengths. You know, this 10 strengths. One of the first is knowing everything, knowing, no, right from the wrong, without any misunderstanding, totally, no, distinctively, precisely, then Buddha can tell what's right and wrong, no, that kind of wisdom. So these types of wisdoms that Buddha have achieved. 4 fearlessnesses. There's no fear for himself. There's no fear for others. That means when Buddha said, I am enlightened, that means purified, everything and all the excellent culture achieved. There's nobody can come say you are not enlightened. In the world, there's nobody can come say you are not enlightened. See, when Buddha said, I purified all obscurations, there's nobody can come to say, Buddha, you are not purified. You are not purified this, that. When Buddha said, I know everything, then nobody can come say, you don't know this. So Buddha has no fear to tell that. It's not out of arrogance, out of pride, but he was telling what he has accomplished. No. So this is what Buddha is about. No. From that, then as I mentioned other days, the compassion to the sentient being is so much, The suffering of the sentient beings are intolerable, but no choice. Suffering is so much unbearable, but no choice. Have to bear. No? So Buddha sees that directly to the sentient beings. And he has that kind of great compassion. From that compassion, then wisdom, that what he accomplished, then he taught those all Lama teachings. Other days I mentioned, as you see the Four Noble Truths, the suffering. You should know the suffering, because we don't know suffering. We don't want suffering, but we don't know all the suffering. Therefore, we repeat the same bad habit. We cannot change the bad habit. That's called deeply rooted habit. It's called inveterate propensity. It's difficult to uproot. Because of this, suffering continues. Even Buddha, who has that kind of great wisdom, compassion, and he tries his best. Sometimes Buddha said, I better not give the teachings. I should stay quiet. Why I need to bother others? No. Sometimes he feels that. And then again continues, because there's no other alternative. So give this, and repeat the same teachings. So that's Buddha, to whom we are taking refuge. So Buddha is infallible, inexorable, the object of the refuge. Infallible, the object of refuge. Then from that wisdom, they taught the Lama teachings. Lama teachings, there are 2 teachings. First, explanation. Second, to practice. Called Lung and Tok. Lung is transmission. All the teachings transmitted. And Tok is realization. What is taught, that should be realized. Not just belief, but follow the path and realize. If you don't practice them, not so much benefit. Sometimes you say, oh, you explain Dharma so well, so good. Thank you so much, but then finished. Our mind is just keep the same pattern, same bad habit. As much as it's like a rubber band. You can bend the rubber, extend and release, go back to the same. Nothing is changed. See? So to change that pattern is called practice meditation. You have to look to yourself, in your own mind, how much I have repeated this same pattern. That is the things that we need to renounce. So, you have heard of renounce, Buddhists taught to renounce. No, I'm not ready yet to renounce, Sometimes we say, that means I'm not ready yet to renounce the cause of suffering, I want to suffer, Still, I don't have enough suffering. I want to continue my suffering, so I'm not ready yet to renounce, So sometimes we have a misunderstanding. People think renounce means renounce your eating, renounce your happiness. So we should know these things. Renounce means renounce the cause of suffering. Renounce the ignorance, attachment, aversion, pride, the 10 non-virtues. So renounce those, the cause of suffering for oneself and others. That's called renounce. So in the Dharma teaching, what you will find is what to be practiced and what to be renounced, what to be abandoned. So don't do these things, means they are cause of suffering, the Buddha taught with such great compassion. These individuals in the samsara, they don't know about these things, the cause of suffering. So if I tell, Buddha, if I tell them what not to do is the cause of suffering, then don't do these things. And do these things like practice of generosity, respect others life, and all those good things, they are the cause for peace and happiness at this moment and for the future, and finally for the enlightenment. So practice loving kindness, compassion, as I mentioned other day, it will come later, but those are the, everyone has love and compassion. But we need to develop them, make it more purified. So water is already pure. This is a purified water. So purify our mind. That's what is. Our mind itself is pure, but we need to purify all the obscurations. So to this, the Dharma is taught. So Dharma is the refuge. When you make offering, you have heard of, Domba Lama Sonam Rinpoche. You know that? No, I have. Domba Lama Sonam Rinpoche. Domba means teacher. The unsurpassed, the teacher is the Buddha. Domba Lama Meba. Unsurpassed teacher is the Buddha. Gyoba means protector. The protector, unsurpassed protector is the Dharma. Dharma is not something there to protect you, but Dharma is there something in your heart. When you practice them, it's the real protector. Just say like 10 virtue. When the 10 virtues is universal. Everybody respect that, regardless of the religion belief, or even without religion. I think in all the different countries, they have constitutions. Those all constitutions are based on the 10 virtues, because they are cause for peace and happiness. You need your country, peaceful country. That's why don't take life, don't steal, don't rob others, don't create obstacles, don't create problem in the country. See, so these 10 virtues are the constitution of the whole in samsara. Okay, we need that constitution. Okay, make that happen. That's the basic fundamental teachings of the Buddha. All the teachings are built from that. Explanation of that. So that's called refuge. Take refuge in the Dharma. And Sangha, take refuge in Sangha, is the God who guide us. Highly accomplished great masters. They are follower of the Buddha, Sangha. So they are example of the successful practitioner or successful practice. We take their example, we follow them. These great masters who are highly accomplished, we take their life as our example to practice Dharma. These great Sanghas, they follow Buddha and they practice the Dharma and how they have accomplished in their life. And for us, they are our guide. So that's why we take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. That's why it's called here, changeless. When we take refuge in them, it never changes. And they are permanent, it's mentioned, permanent. It's not permanent something, phenomena exists without change. It's not that. This permanent means virtue is virtue, always the virtue. It's permanent, it's changeless. Actually, the Buddha is the ultimate refuge. In the jewel ornament of liberation, at the section of the refuge, you read there, the quotation from Uttara Tantra. Tambe Tondo Doa is Damn Sanje Nyachit, Tambe Tondo, Tambe Tondo. In order to achieve the ultimate enlightenment, Buddhahood, the refuge is the Buddha. Damn Sanje Nyachit, only the Buddha is the ultimate refuge. Then Buddha is the Buddha. Buddha is the embodiment of Dharma. So Tuba is the Buddha. Muni, Buddha, is the embodiment of Dharma. Tuba Chuch, Kuchinchir, Dharma. Dhammakaya, Buddha, Dhammakaya is the ultimate Buddha. Sojang de tatuches. The Sangha. The ultimate Sangha becomes the Buddha. So Buddha is the Buddha. Buddha is the Dharma. And Buddha is the Sangha. So Buddha is the embodiment of Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So that we take refuge. That's Maitreya. Buddha Maitreya, describe that in the Uttara Tantra. So that's we take refuge, not to samsaric beings. Where there's no Buddha Dhamma Sangha, Then there are individuals that take refuge in sometimes they say in the big giant tree. They say there is such our ancestral deities are there, so we take refuge in them. Or sometimes you say there's a big mountain, with a rocky big mountain. Or in this, there's some very special deities, our ancestral deities are there. We take refuge in them. Sometimes they're beautiful leg, such a beautiful leg. So this beautiful leg possesses abides our ancestral deities. This we take refuge. No. So they don't have Buddha Dharma Sangha, you see, no? So Buddha Dharma Sangha is our ultimate refuge for enlightenment, to free from samsara. That's why he said, you who desire emancipation from this suffering abyss, we are all in a state of suffering, samsara, confusion, to free from this kind of confusion, delusion. The only Buddha Dharma Sangha are the ultimate refuge. So when you take refuge, I take refuge in the Buddha Dharma Kaya. I take refuge in Dharma, the Gopa, the cessation of the Dharma of the Nirvana, you take refuge. Sangha of the, those great Bodhisattvas who are highly accomplished, who are in the 8th, 10th bhumi, we take refuge in them. Bring in our heart and take refuge, you see. So refuge, I repeat this usually, Milarepa said, I take refuge in the Buddha Dharma Sangha as the outer refuge, as an example. Historically, it's a Buddha Dharma Sangha. Then he said, I take refuge in the Guru, Yedam deity, and Dakini as an inner refuge. So the inner refuge is your mind. Your true nature of the mind is your Guru. Outer Guru is just example. It's just help you to see the reality nature. Ultimately, you take refuge, your inner mind, the pure mind. You rely on that. That's the Buddha, And that is the Yidam deity. And that is the Dakini. Then Milarepa said, I take refuge in the chakra channel bindu, as a secret refuge. So chakra is a Dhammakaya. This channel is Nirmanakaya. And the bindu is a Sambhogakaya. So Buddha, Dhammakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya. That, I take refuge in them, Then he said, I take refuge in the emptiness, appearance, and inseparable nature. That's the ultimate refuge, he said. I take refuge in them. I achieve the satisfaction. And if you take refuge in them, you will achieve as well that satisfaction. So this all, you see, you can understand, this all are nothing but to purify our mental affliction. Our mental affliction is very complicated, as I mentioned, very complex. Just like you see your internet, how much the internet is now, you can see, so complex. Your whole world is in your hand in the smartphone. And there's information, endless, one after another. There's some individuals, the whole day they spend in the internet in your hand, the phone in your hand. One after another, endless. Your mind is like that. See, exactly our mind is like that. So to purify that complexity, Dharma is the only method to solve that problem, suffering, in this 21st century. See, Dharma taught in the 2,500, over 65 years or more. The teaching is still so fresh, but the difficulties now, it's very difficult to explain these things, to teach these things, and to practice this. That's what I say, when you spend more teachings, studying, go to retreat, study, practice together, then you understand that from the depth of the meaning, not from just outside. Because your mind is so complex. The complexity of the mind reduces, the meaning of the Dharma manifests. See? So your whole being, your nature itself is the Dharma, when you realize. So that's why Milarepa said, when I know one thing, I know everything. See? When Milarepa revealed the complexity of the mind, that one thing, he revealed whole universe of samsara nirvana. So there's no end of teachings that he can teach without stopping. That's the quality of the mind, as I mentioned. So that to see that the three refuge, the refuge is the principal path that we take refuge in them now until you become Buddha. Refuge is not something you practice something, then you just live there. No, refuge, you go all the way to Buddhahood. Sometimes there's a kind of, what you say, those who go to retreat and you do frustration. When somebody done like 100,000 frustration with the refuge, they say, I have finished refuge. It's very strange, You can't finish refuge, So I have done refuge. Start with the refuge at the beginning. Right at the beginning, you start with the refuge. Just saying, Sanjay Chotan Soja Sonam, you start prayer that. And then any practice you do, then all the way to Buddhahood. Then when you achieve Buddhahood, then you become the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. You can't finish refuge, If you finish refuge, it's very strange, I don't know what you are practicing. So refuges start with so refuge is not as a Buddhist culture or Buddhism, it's the method. So it's a cause, we should understand. It's a cause to free from samsara, to free from samsara. Now says we use this Buddha as a Sanskrit It's a Sanskrit word, In other words, fully awakened, enlightenment. Anybody can achieve enlightenment. Anybody can become Buddha. So Buddha. Sometimes we say Buddha Dhamma Sangha is only for Buddhists. Buddha Dhamma Sangha is for everybody, for every sentient beings. We should reflect that, understand that. Even who don't believe in a religion, they also need Buddha Dhamma Sangha. They need wisdom, They want peace and happiness, see. And they want to free from suffering. For that reason, they need Buddha Dhamma Sangha. It's the reality, it's the cause. But we need to have a skill how to express these things. We need an experience how can share these wisdom to all others. That's the Gongchig teaching explains, you see. That's why Gongchig is not just a single intention. It's an intention of everything, okay? Complete. We should say one complete intention, okay? 주제차가 센사이샤다. So how we are doing? We are doing good. Are you enjoying the Dharma? Close for enlightenment? I'm sure you are now closer for enlightenment. Okay, I'm taking a lot of time on this. To strive to take refuge in them from the bottom of your hearts. Moral conduct is the cause of attaining the higher realm and definite goodness. Make it a priority to engage in the Vinaya spheres of the abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions. So here, there's the Vinaya moral ethics, you see. What it means is, look at as I mentioned before, the demarcation between peace and happiness and the suffering. So, even to reborn in the higher realm, in the precious human life, to achieve those, we need these 10 virtuous practice. So to practice this, they are called precepts, There's a lay precept and ordained precept. The lay precepts, you see the 5 precepts. So those are not just a precept or some kind of like a vow. Some people, they're afraid. I'm not yet ready to take the precepts. I wait. You feel like you are trapped, When you take precepts, then you feel you are trapped, If you don't take the precept, you feel, oh, I'm free, I'm free what to do, what not to do. Actually, if you take the precept, then you are making free yourself from the suffering, When you're free from the suffering, you are really free, Well, in the suffering and creating the cause of suffering, all these things, you are not free, You're confined, You're trapped in the, you're trapped in the cocoon and confined, and then there's no freedom. So this Vinaya is like 5 precepts is Vinaya. And as you mentioned, look at these 5 precepts. Not taking life, you see, means not harming others' life, yourself. Not stealing or not things from others. Not engage in the sexual misconduct. See, I said, not telling lies, especially spiritual lies. Not intoxicates. Look at this, you see. We in the samsara suffering from these lack of these precepts. Harming each other, killing each other, you know. How much suffering is there, how much atrocity is there. People are crying, they are desperate when there's killing involved, you see. It's not something Buddhist thing. You see, in the universe, in the world, everywhere, robberies, stealing things. Nobody appreciates that, you see. It's universal. Then people say the attachment, the desire becomes so strong, then sexual misconduct, and so much suffering is there. Confusion, envy, jealous. Yes, you see, a lot of sufferings involved there. Anger, Then telling lies is deceiving others. Nobody appreciates that, you see. Especially spiritual lies. You have not realized this, I saw Buddha. I saw I saw Jesus, I saw enlightened beings deceiving others. Then it becomes a cult member, After some time, there's a lot of confusion, So those the basic, a lay practitioner, everybody, the monk, nuns, all practitioners, based on these practices, avoiding these all cause of suffering, and engage in the cause for peace, harmony from there. So this starting from there is the peace. When you achieve the Dhammakaya, it's the ultimate peace. So that's what's called, the moral conduct is the cause of attaining the higher realm, even in the samsara, to achieve the precious human lives. Sometimes we say, what kind of prayer I can say to be reborn as a human life? You keep the 5 precepts. That's the direct cause to reborn in the higher realm. You don't need to do the definition, You don't need to say some prayers, but keep those 5 precepts perfectly, and then there's no fear, no doubt to be reborn as a precious human life. Then for enlightenment, they say higher realms and definite goodness means complete enlightenment, Buddhahood. So the Vinaya is the foundation of all the practices. Right from the beginning, all the way to the Buddhahood. So therefore, make it a priority to engage in the Vinaya sphere means complete Don't look down. Some individuals say Vinaya is for lesser vehicle. For Hinayana, they say, but Vinaya is for all. For Hinayana, for Mayana, for Vajrayana, for every yanas, okay? From the first vehicle to the ultimate vehicle, the Vinaya is appreciated, respected, and Buddha talked in that way. So abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions. And then there's all one's own happiness arises from others. I explained that briefly yesterday. Desiring others' benefit is the cause for one's own happiness. So authentically practice the 4 immeasurables of love, compassion, joy, and equanimity. See. I think yesterday I mentioned quite a bit about this. Look at our life. All that what we enjoy is the products of others. The other people made such great effort to produce the best quality, and we enjoy their products. So our enjoyment, that what we enjoy things, is the products of others. So we need to appreciate that. We need to acknowledge this, understand this. Even in the samsara, not in the dharma, even in the samsara, the love, compassion, as mentioned, everyone is sustained, they're alive because of the love and compassion. Like even, as mentioned, the bird who lays the egg and then hatches the egg so delicately, so gently, out of love, out of compassion. And that's how egg is hatched and comes out the chicken. The mother sacrifices all the hardship to protect her offspring out of love and compassion. Even small bugs who know nothing, still there's expression of love and compassion. Out of hatred, they cannot survive. Out of negligence, they cannot survive. But the mother sacrifices whole her life, and then brings up all this. Look at the country. The leader is more responsible. The leader has more compassion. The leader takes care of the people of the country. Everybody admire, respect. They elect again and again. They vote again and again, because the person takes responsibility. Even in the politics, in the war, even there's no dharma, but who cares the people? People appreciate. Look at this. We are in the society. We cannot live one individual without other support. One become famous because the people. No. If you stay in a desolate place, a desert where there's nobody, then you see how much you can become rich, how much you become famous. No. You can shout in that desolate place, I'm so rich, I'm so famous. There's no one to, who say things for you, because there's nobody. So we all, the business people, have to understand this. The business become very rich because of the people purchase their product. The individual becomes billionaires because the people. So they should understand about that. They should know how to share with others. So this is not just only in the Dharma world. This is in the general, in the samsara world. And you see, our thought, our practice as a Dharma, says the Dharma practitioner now, we are taught how to develop our love and compassion. It's because of the sentient beings you can develop love and compassion. As other dimension, you cannot develop love and compassion on a piece of rock or in a piece of stick, You develop love and compassion even to your cat, dog, horses, and the people around you. As who gets the benefit? You get the benefit. The practitioner gets the benefit. As soon as when there's a love, compassion in your heart, there's a peace. So we should acknowledge this, see this, and meditate, practice, And this mentioned, desiring others' benefit is the cause of one's own happiness. That's what I mentioned, One becomes the Buddha because of the sentient beings. Buddha practiced generosity, perfected the practice of generosity, moral ethics, patience, dealing with other people, and attain the Buddhahood. In the life of Buddha, you say, when Devadatta comes round, challenge Buddha, creating obstacle to Buddha's activities. And Buddha practiced so much about the patience. And Buddha become more famous. Still we're talking about, Milarepa also said, his aunt and uncle are very important in his life for the Dharma practice. Without them, Milarepa won't become like that Milarepa. The aunts and uncle took advantage, took everything, became like such a bitter enemy. And Milarepa grown up from within that. And then he practiced the bodhicitta and achieved enlightenment. He said, I'm so grateful of their support. So everything become a good support for your Dharma practice. So that's practice of love and compassion. As mentioned, we do have the capital, the love and compassion. Capitalize from that, and then increase the practice further to all the sentient beings. So, okay. Now from this, we should finish next one. Then after the 4 limitless practice, this 4 limitless or 4 immeasurable practice this. And there's so much to say, but if you read the Jewel Ornament of Liberation at the section of the Love and Compassion, Gampopa describes so beautifully. So please read that book. The next is what said, the sole cause of obtaining the Buddhahood and of any of the peace and happiness of samsara and nirvana is bodhicitta itself. See, bodhicitta is the highway towards enlightenment, the consummate path for the enlightenment of all sentient beings. So bodhicitta develop on the base on love and compassion. You desire for peace and happiness every sentient beings. You desire everybody to free from suffering, but sentient beings don't have all the peace and happiness. They are not free from suffering. Now what we should do, say, attain the Buddhahood is the ultimate method to solve all the problems, confusions, cause of suffering. So for that reason, we need to cultivate bodhicitta. So I want to attain the enlightenment, the awakened state, for the benefit of all sentient beings. First we cultivate that. That's called first aspiration, bodhicitta. Once you achieve or cultivate that aspiration, bodhicitta, then you start the action. It's called the action bodhicitta, engagement bodhicitta. Follow the path. Because right at the beginning, when you cultivated bodhicitta to attain Buddhahood, and you are not Buddha yet. No, we are not Buddha yet. So now to become Buddha, we have to practice the 6 parameters step by step. So to cultivate bodhicittas, now this coming weekend we have that program. They need a lot of causes and conditions. This universal mind, to reveal that mind, we need such a great courage, strength, and such a kind of view, powerful view, like those people who involve multi-billion businesses. They have a lot of discussions how to engage, to how to make the profit from their business, how to advertise all this. They work so hard day and night. They think they just they would call their the storming brain. The storming brain they call the make how to use your brain. Now bodhicitta is such a great business, to gain the enlightenment, to make the profit of all the peace and happiness that exists in the world. It's such a great business, So to this, then needs accumulation of merit, accumulation of wisdom, all those causes, condition. Then through that, it's mentioned here, samsara and nirvana is the bodhicitta itself. Make every effort to generate it in your mind stream. Okay. So we have about 5 minutes bodhicitta this afternoon. I think we should, looks like it will take a lot of time. I'll read the next one. There is bodhicitta of aspiration and engagement and unsurpassable ultimate bodhicitta. So here divided bodhicitta into 3. Just as mentioned, aspiration bodhicitta, action bodhicitta, then ultimate bodhicitta, the Döntabe Sem, Changju Sem. Writing well the steed of perseverance, reach the end of this path. You ride on the steed of perseverance. You need great perseverance, joyous effort to perfect all the 6 parameters, and then perfect your mind. In other words, to purify all obscurations, mental delusions. You see now, all the practices right from the beginning to the end, our only work is to purify the mind, all the mental delusions. They are the root cause of suffering. Every sentient beings. At other day, in the Nagarjuna's commentary on bodhicitta mentioned, look at all the suffering in the samsara we have. It's because we harm sentient beings. Harming the sentient beings, then the result is suffering. So whether it's action or arising aspiration bodhicitta, action bodhicitta, ultimate bodhicittas, this all we practice to purify all the levels of the different obscurations step by step. We should understand that. Not just a spiritual thing. This bodhicitta is a cause for enlightenment. It's not just Buddhist belief. It's not just a Buddhism. It's the direct cause for the Buddhahood, for the enlightenment. So please see that way. So I must cultivate bodhicitta. I must do all these good practices. I'm so fortunate. I have this precious human life, and I have those teachings, instructions, very precise. Now I should take the responsibility. This is for my own benefit. Get rid of all your doubt, fears, following the Dharma teachings. Sometimes you have a lot of fear. If I practice this, what will happen to me? Or something will happen to me. Maybe I lose this. Maybe I lost this. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of reservation we have. So get rid of all those reservations. Just need a courage. Courage is based on wisdom and compassion, and go forward on that. See. I remember one, yesterday they was asking question about how to kill termite. Yeah. Termite, It's okay to kill termite. It's okay to kill the termite, but it is okay also to pay the price. I will say this about the life story of Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna is well known. Nagarjuna lived for many years. And he has such a great friend. The letter Nagarjuna's letter to a friend, the king. The king was very close to Nagarjuna, the chief pattern of Nagarjuna's life. And Nagarjuna also, because saw these conditions, so he accepted, you will not die until I die, So then the king gave, the king's wife gave the birth of a son who was grown up. And the mother made such a beautiful cloth to her son. Beautiful cloth. And then mother said, no, this is my gift to you, so you should wear it. And the son said, this is so precious, mom, I cherish this. I will not wear until I become a king, And then mother said, you will never get a chance to become a king, because Nagarjuna is free of how long he will live. And he accepted your father live as long as Nagarjuna. So you should wear now. You should use it. Then the son said, no, I cannot. No, until I become king, I cannot wear this cloth. It's so precious. Then he was not eating food, he was not getting sleeps. As a mother, then what should I do to help my son? So the only solution is Nagarjuna should die. Then Nagarjuna dies, then his father will die, and then he will become king. So then mother suggested to her son, Nagarjuna is a great bodhisattva, so you should ask him to die, so that his father will die and he will become king. So then the child just went, the son, the boy went to the Nagarjuna and said, mother gave me such a precious cloth, and I don't want to wear until I become king. But my mother said, you will not die, So what should I do, Maybe Nagarjuna, you should die, So then Nagarjuna recollect his lifespan, says that, yes, it is now time to die. But I will not die without any conditions. When I was shepherd, many years, eons ago, I was a shepherd. And then looking after the sheep, goats, and accidentally I killed an insect through the grass, cutting the neck. So I said, I have that karma left. I have to pay that, I have to pay off that karma. So tomorrow you should come with a knife and I will give. And tomorrow he came and tried to cut Nagarjuna's neck with a knife. It doesn't go through. In other words, it's like a knife throwing in the sky, because Nagarjuna totally realized the emptiness. So then they said, you bring the handful of grass you can cut. And he did, and then he cut Nagarjuna's neck, head. So even Nagarjuna has to pay that karma. Okay. Now we should ask about that. Okay. There's no negotiation when you come to karma, okay? We try to negotiate. You see, what if, like this? So that is our karma. We have to pay respect. It's not a Buddhist belief. It's universal reality, nature. The causality of the universe happens to the Buddha, to the lowest sentient beings. That's why Milarepa said, emptiness is easier to understand than the causality of the karma. Only Buddha's wisdom can capture the total meaning of the karma, not just general, individuals. So this is just extra. I thought to say this, to share this story. So since we are really interested in the Dharma teaching, and Dharma is coming in the West well, so we should have real good understanding. Sometimes when there's not clear explanations, then we just say, no, it's okay, do that, it's okay, Then a lot of okay. Then Dharma is watered down. And Dharma is not presented as it is, as that you need it. No, we need real sincere practitioner. So therefore, in the US we have, in the Constitution, no one is above the law, isn't it? So likewise, no one is above the karma. Even Buddha is under the rule of the karma. See, for our own benefit, this is our own benefit. We need to use our own wisdom, our sense of this understanding, see this and practice as much as possible. Then you get the benefit. Then we can help others to benefit. Okay, so yesterday my watch was a little bit kind of twisted. So it went about 1 hour extra, Today I put my watch in the right direction. So it is time now. So first, please take a deep breath. Inhale fully and exhale. Now please reflect what we went through this morning or in any time, other afternoon or whatever. Or just reflect the causality and how to purify the mind, how to use the Dharma as a direct tool to uproot our attachment, our delusions. And we should really rejoice from your heart. So I'm so fortunate receiving this wisdom, these teachings. Now I really understand the Dharma. It's not so easy because of our mental afflictions are strong. But now I have the tool. I can work. I have the goal towards enlightenment. I have the tool in my hand to practice these Dharma teachings. So just appreciate, rejoice. And then please say the dedication prayers. And to say, yeah, good. Glorious. Okay.
Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind root and lineage lamas, divine assembly of yidams, deities, the assembly of Buddhas, bodhisattvas, yogins, yoginis, and dakinis, dwelling in the 10 directions, please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all sentient beings, samsara and nirvana, and the innate root of virtue, not result in the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Shravaka or Pratyeka Buddha. May all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading Maras, and the hordes of demons, experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise even at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind as such and the pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good rest and see you at 2 or at your time. Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, no, that's
Okay, everyone, enjoy your lunch and see you 2 p.m. If you're near here, come to. We have delicious meal and so many food. But I cannot share here. Then you lose your focus. Sorry. See you later.